In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
When the establishment is corrupt, becoming a superhero just won't do. You'll need to become a supervillain.
Let's get down to business. The goal of Supervillain is to expose the corruption that plagues the establishment by becoming the ultimate, most cunning supervillain. To do this, you must collect as many points as possible, which you count from the capers you claim. There are 4 types of cards: capers, which are missions that expose corruption; characters, your pawns to complete the missions; items, handy tools to help characters; and shenanigans, events that may intervene in your plans or those of your enemy, for better or worse. There are 5 skill sets to solve different capers: corporate, espionage, military, political, and scientific. The numbers on the skill sets indicate how many dice you can roll. To set up the game, take out the following shenanigans cards: downsizing, the shell game, and villain's cunning ploy. Separate the cards into 3 stacks: characters, capers, and items and shenanigans. Make sure to shuffle each stack. Place 5 caper cards from left to right. The rest can be taken out of the game. Then turn over the first caper card on the left. You're now ready to begin the game. Turn over a card from the character deck and place it either next to the first face up or the second face down caper. I will put the card by the first caper because the character has a strong or relevant skill to this caper, specifically military. Continue until either your face-up caper card has 4 characters, or until you feel that it's time to attempt the caper. Since you cannot have more than 4 characters next to any caper, choose carefully when placing your cards. Now that the first caper card has 4 characters, you can attempt it. However, if you don't feel prepared to attempt it now, you can draw a card from the item and shenanigans deck. This step is risky business because you could draw a card that helps you to strengthen the skills you need, or you might, for example, draw a shenanigan that ruins your entire plan. It's up to you to decide the best strategy. The same rules apply. Assign your item to either the face-up caper or the face-down caper. Since a character can only have 1 item at a time, this means that no more than 4 items can be placed next to a caper. You don't have to assign items to your characters until you're ready to attempt the caper. There is no limit to the number of shenanigans cards that you can place next to a caper, but watch out for them as they may not always be in your favor. If you've reached your limit of 4 characters and items, then you must attempt the caper. After assigning your items to your characters, resolve all shenanigans attached to your caper. I will provide an example of how to do this after first explaining a few other rules. For now, let's attempt the caper. Characters with skills relevant to the caper will come in handy, as they allow you more dice. Characters with non-relevant skills may still be useful thanks to halvesies. What are halvesies? Simple. Just take the total number of your character and item and divide it by half. In this example, the corporate stooge does not have a relevant skill, even if you consider his item. 1 plus 3 equals 4 dice. Divide this by half, and you get 2 dice. The ruthless CEO also has an irrelevant skill. Half of 3 is 1.5, and since you must always round down, he gives you 1 extra die. You therefore receive a total of 3 extra dice per roll you take. You roll once per skill set indicated by the caper. In this example, you roll once for military and once for scientific. You first set the point by rolling the number of dice indicated by the first skill set on the caper. In this case, you roll 4 dice for military. 17. You now have to roll higher than or equal to 17. You are allowed 5 dice from your right-hand man plus the 3 dice from halvesies. You are not allowed dice from the Full Metal Scientist since she is relevant to another skill set from the caper, in this case scientific. If you succeed in carrying on to your next roll, you will have 6 dice to use, 3 from your Full Metal Scientist and 3 from halvesies. Meanwhile, you will only have to face 4 dice again, since the caper's scientific skill set indicates 4. If you succeed in matching or beating the point set, victory is yours! For now. But if you fail, you're not as cunning as you thought. Regardless of the result, destroy all characters, items, and shenanigans used during your attempt. Put aside the caper for later scoring. Be sure to keep your claimed and unclaimed capers in separate piles. Now flip over the next caper card on the left and continue this process until you've attempted all capers. Now that you understand how to attempt a caper, let's return to how a shenanigans card may affect your play. In the example shown here, there are no shenanigans attached to the first caper. But let's say, for example, that the card Bribe a Military Officer were attached. This card allows you to either add or subtract 1 military point to each of your character's skills. If you decide to add 1 point, then you would have a total of 9 dice to roll for military, 6 from your right-hand man, 1 from the Ruthless CEO, 1 from the Full Metal Scientist, and 1 from the Corporate Stooge. However, the halvesies rule would no longer apply, because both the Corporate Stooge and the Ruthless CEO now have a relevant skill to the caper, whereas they previously did not. Now if you decide to subtract 1 military point from your characters, then you would only get 4 dice to roll from your right-hand man, instead of 5. But on the bright side, the halvesies rule would still apply. So as you can see, strategy is crucial. It's time to count your final score. If you have claimed more caper points than not, then congratulations! You are the ultimate supervillain. If you have more unclaimed caper points than not, or if the score is tied, then you fail to expose the corruption. Go back to your secret lair and come up with better strategies for the future. However, if you fail to claim all capers except the last one, then congratulations, you win! You may have lost the battles, but you won the war. Speaking. Understood. Begin Operation Kitty Capers.